Hi everyone, it's Jen from Mind's Eye, and we're gonna do Daniel Boone, and this one was a request to see how it goes about. Now, as I see him with his coonskin hat, I see him hunting. I see a rat pack come in from the 60s. I can't even. You have to say, oh my goodness, the rat pack. So that is a few singers, a few musicians who crooned it out on a way to a known to get it done. Get it done. Okay, so how is Daniel Boone related to the Rat Pack from the 60s? It's called Gonst. It's Gonst. It's an old form of getting it done, uh like stinging it a bee in a music note. Through music. So he's showing me in mediumship. He's coming through. He's still highly strong, highly strong. He has a terrible taste to his mouth. He's terrible taste. Very. I see something actually tragic with him about drowning. Something about drowning, but it wasn't anything like that. There's a form of drowning with him that actually heart be it known, loan, on loan. Everything's on loan. LOAN. He won't say. Everything's on loan. An ill-fated maiden came in of the architect of like this structure. He's showing me the civilization. He's saying in his own words, speak through me. Civilization, my dear, came through on a known, on a bone, on a loan, on a stone, on a gone, on a megalani, yes, yani, and the metalanion. And people would actually, that's where you hear the banjo actually come through. And when you see it actually come in, the loving entametalana matalana esayaniani yodadi dadu. I mean, that's how it leads to the Hatfield and McCoys. And you go matalana esayani yani yodadi dadu. So when I actually see it, the way that they crooned out a type of singing that is pertinent to Appalachians, it's pertinent to the Hatfields McCoys, it's pertinent to the banjos, is the way it sounded like din 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 badalani, I see you. And when you actually hear it, if you are sound like like what we were talking about, that actually children actually hear it first and around about. And that is the birth of their beginning. So he's showing me he loved kids. He loved children. He loved travel and going about. He loved hunting out in the woods. He actually would hunt out. He's showing me. And that is where he absolutely loved and endured everything. He could take on everything as someone who fought crime in the area and picking up on instances and keeping things at bay. He was highly gifted that he could plant. And so when I see the King of Roses come in, there was people who would walk in like we have in hunting season. You might cross paths and say, yeah, I got this and I got this. And when I shot this doe or I got this raccoon or I got this going through the woods and sitting up in the tree, there was no initiation to his gifts. They were just there. They were just born. And when I'm seeing born, I'm seeing Bourne, which means that he was given this gift from someone who worked a form of law enforcement back then. He just woke up and it was there. So when I see the bird's nest, it was a leaving a flight, but he just walked out and started doing things and they couldn't understand it. So he's showing me his parents would get annoyed because he had to sit and stay put and listen. So when grandma came in, when I see this, the Queen of Keys said, no, you have to sit solid. You didn't learn. You didn't do. You have to say sitting and setting your course was none. He was a drummer by the beat of himself. He went and did everything. He like knew it. It was such a gift. He already knew what the law was because whoever gifted it to them literally gave them the knowledge all within, and he soaked it up every night. So when I see the views of the ego, when I see him look at himself in the mirror, like he said, I was a changed man. And I was about, he's showing the age 14, when he's showing me the views of the ego, he's showing me how it comes through. It's like a slam in the face, like that. How it hit him. It hit him so hard on a gift out that he was laid out for a 14 to a 10 to a 9 to a 3 to a bow. And he was done. And then they said, how did you do that? No, I just got to go a bow. And when they went through the woods, they saw something of a snake hill like down the meadow of the rill of the rin of the rich of the bay. He could foresay a nay of a bay of a lay to be a say because he couldn't say words like streets or areas or roads or anything of that because he already followed law. So he already had a sense of age, what to say and what to not say, but to be descriptive. This lightning bolt came through a pass. So he is showing me a storm, a lightning strike to the ground, which shows the water well, a natural resource, a spring. And when it popped up and flooded, he already knew what to say to those who were law enforcement in the area. That where he actually balanced his energy so well that you couldn't get it done fast enough. He was so good. So when he was a wanderer, he's a lake dryer, wire, low, no, so, go, low. And he used to talk like that. So there was no journey per se. He would sit there in his mind at first. And I would say, no, no, he actually would wander off for days, days. And they got used to it after months, months. This was something not foretold. And usually when it's a foretelling, it's a passing down from generations what their children will be like because they already knew. But the Queen of Roses came in and saw and said, yes, they have to do this and go about. The treasure comes in and says, no, it is something of riches. Money and pertinence and value and coin was actually a type of pertinence of barter. And when it was a pertinence of barter, it was a gifting out through and through. So when he had his hiking stick, his walking stick, I hear walking rod, you can't do it all alone in a known. Past unknown and past known all came through. He was so meditative when he did it. He could do a call out. And when I'm seeing Native American do their call outs, he understood all of it. He said 3 to 4, around 14 years old, but he was up to 28 things that he could do naturally gifted on communication. It was a type of play. It was kind of comical. But when it came through, no warrior. So I don't see a badge. I don't see honor with him, but he is well known. Well known. When I see Archangel Raphael, there was no gift like an office or a horse or anything like that. He earned everything. Everything. Everything was off track at that moment. Everything came through on documentation for him. But there was something about the intricacies in industry that laid it off and laid him off, where he just did his own work. He just did it because he heard it, he felt it, he saw it. The War of Roses says there was something of point blank range that was always in his face, and he's showing me trees, he's showing me owl, he's showing me hummingbirds, he's seeing me woodpecker, but he's seeing me another type of bird, like a nightingale, that is a crow, that is a blackbird. It's hard to describe, but you can't do it, and that's how he used to communicate. He truly was a lookout. He would cause a fire in a way unknown, and that would be the wishes fulfilled. So let's see what else is there for Daniel Boone. Okay. There was a harsh ending for Daniel. He had foreseen it a little bit. His grandmother is really showing the energy. She had looked, it was like looking out the window and saying it was harsh. It was really harsh. The end of this comes through and you can't even get it known. You can't even. It was a type of liberation that they had said for Daniel, but it wasn't anything known at all. At all. I don't see inhibitions, but I do see an addiction. I still see the cranberry, the holly berry, like I did in the Salem witch trials. But the Eight of Swords is a type of tie-up of a deceit. So when I see the Five of Cups in reverse, there is an alleviation of something confirmed. It is still unknown what type of activity surrounded him with nature. I see the word opaque, but I don't see like selenite opaque. I don't see water opaque. Opaque is a type of widow that comes in like a black widow that comes in known. It is go and get away from that energy when you hear it and you see it. It is so nasty. Now, as far as me having that experience in my life, it goes through when going into a house if someone who has just lost someone in their life and they're willing to sting everything where you don't know if you're going to be in the crosshairs or the crossfire or in the line of fire and you can't get out of it. So when you do, this is the go about order. That's the Ace of Cups in reverse. And that is what he saw was go about. And that's how he became the wanderer, like the song. The Three of Wands says, you couldn't even have it fast enough of no foresight and pretend, but you had to look into it on why you have to all of a sudden just like get up and leave your family. Because the Ten of Cups goes, there's something about that that you must be rich about. The Two of Pentacles in reverse goes, no, don't even worry. Don't even worry. Those are the kind of conversations that we're having. Just go about or look into it and just get out of here. But in their own way. It's just, yep, he just went and he just went for the walk and he did this and he did that. And I see the tears. I see the tears. Yup, he is who he is, and he just did it. Yeah, I mean, that's all you need to know. Now, I do see a wall and a halt stop, and when it comes to Daniel Boone, that there's really not much to talk about. But there's a lot to dig on. I do see it could be another video, but I'm hearing no. His wishes are no. He really wants it plain and simple. That he was someone who was gifted. He was someone who was easygoing, and he was hard. He was solid. He could use his gifts well. But when you actually hear the stories of lore and folklore, you have to say going down to Appalachia was where it's at because they sit and they nod and say, yes, he was here. Yes, he was here. That is where the chaos comes in. So let's see where he wants us to actually pull another deck. So let's look at the Pleiadian oracle. And then we'll take a look at the wood runes to see what it has. All right. All right. Expansion compassion. So when I see Daniel Boone actually uh leaving the homestead of a go about order, it actually meant that he had to search out for others who were like him. So when I actually see rooted light, they were like him, they were grounded, and they had to be done with everything in their life and in their soul path. They were already set in their vibration, whether it was like a criminal run because somebody had made them a criminal, they were innocent and hit, or to where it was a timeline jump where it was a fast track. These individuals that he was looking for that were like-minded and like everything, that you couldn't get anything done unless they said it, they heard it, they felt it, and that is all you had to do. This was something that they could regenerate this type of trolling of energy, like a wheel, like a water they keep hearing water farm. They don't know why it's a water, it's a mill, it's a type of mill. I'm seeing Christ mill, Christ-like. There's someone who actually guided them out a lot of times. So when I see dolphin play, it was something of like other people who were opposing. So it was almost like a Hatfield McCoy feeling. So they were already set in their finches. I see a cardinal. I see a go about order. But I see the fifth dimensional access for these individuals who were like Daniel Boone of having just to go and find like-minded people like themselves, that you had to do something about it. They remembered each other some way intuitively and instinctively. They're very comfortable. When I see a sacred union, I don't see marriages, I don't see partnerships or like what we see it today. The sacred union was like a bond, like an oath. I'm seeing like infantry. They took chances on each other, even though it was like they would walk in something, he just showed me so something like they would walk in, it's like, yeah, I had petty theft. Yeah, I had larceny. I have a misdemeanor. And they can't even believe it. And they're like, yeah, we just sit together because it was done. So when I see light technology and I see this come out, I say, Where were they rooted in their light? We're not drug induced. We're clear soul mind. So there was a lot of forgiveness. I see a lot of energy of forgiveness. Opening of doors. So when they would walk by, their energy would actually open up a door, but I don't see that it was a true opening. I see a trolling. Universal heart, they really were genuine people who he was surrounded with. It was so surrounded that they eat the same, they ate the same, they ate like things. They were when you sit with people who are like that, like, no, 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 we eat our macaroni and cheese the same way, and we eat our steak the same way. Nope, we get our chicken right here. And that's all you need to know. So when you see this ash star, which has the two wolves, and I hate to say you do have the UFO come in, they were pretty grounded by seeing that. They're like, no, 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 I'm good. It all came together because these two signs solidified everything for me about Daniel Boone, and you just don't understand why. It truly was your vibration. It was your vibration. The light language says it was clear, it was dry, and I actually see them as an act out as a psychic. It was like a spear through the mouth right here of a choke up at times. They couldn't even get their words out. And that's really all he wants to know. Now the wood runes, let's take a look. It was a freeze in his life, and that is ice. There was a type of torch of like an ulcer-like feeling that caused that freeze of a type of power that he couldn't understand that would truly troll him. And it was so nasty and following him, it actually gave him wealth. It like every time it got thrown at him, he gained. So when you see the warrior, he actually stood so solid. He stood straight up from the chair, and it's hard to explain that. So when I see this, this was ill fate. He couldn't flip to fate to close out, but his heritage and his estate was so well grounded and solid, he is preserved, living, preserved living. It's really hard to explain, but just using instinct and intuition as someone who understands culture and heritage, if someone is preserved living, even to this day, from this 15 to 17 to 1800s, that means they come back in a way unknown to be renowned and have it all done. So when I actually go about and you actually see someone hunting, they're guiding through solid as earthbound energy that stuck and remained, that even in the afterlife, they can guide you. That is what truly flows about him. So when I see the wheel of luck, this individual still to this day can guide through the woods unbeknownst to the tree of known to have it done. So when I see defense of this, Dega means a type of sword of a community coming through. Even still, those who live in a camp-like community of gifted, they're solid gifted, hidden. They can actually sit and just light a fire and see the smoke come through the chimney and know exactly where to go and where to say it all of a sudden because it picked up. That is the true gift, and it's called night. When I see Nadis as a through the runes, it is a type of sword in the stone, like a King Arthur that you can't get out the Berkana of the birch. So when he's showing me the birch trees, it really was more oak, but more oak done. And he would sit there and say, no, no, just do. Just do. Birch, oak. I don't see willow surrounding Daniel Boone, where it was a type of drowning for him. I do see a pneumonia. I do see heart failure. I do see um, a prophylactic um, needing. I can't say it. It was joy. It was something like an act, like an last act of defiance of a mouse and a falcon that I see that he did to torch whoever was following him. It was so strong that when you actually walk through the woods, it causes havoc still, whoever was in alignment of that criminal who he was tracking in his group. Now, with that being said, that's all I have to say about Daniel Boone. It really is a block. And this is one of my first blocks that I'm having on an individual that I can't talk about how pneumonia and drowning is like, that's all enough that you need to know. That's all enough you need to know. And with that being said, have a good day. We'll talk to you soon. Any questions, just please email me or send me a message. Have a good day.